Hey, Graydon. So nice to have you on. It's been a minute. We met each other at the Forum for Women Entrepreneurs e-series. That was really, for anyone who doesn't know, that it's a course for female entrepreneurs that's sort of like a mini MBA. And we were put through that for like 5 days, and we were in the same group. And Graydon is the founder of Graydon Skincare, one of the first natural products, right? Natural skincare lines in Ontario, Canada. Or have you been all over Canada now? You're in
We
Vancouver.
are.
Yeah.
We're distributed nationally in Canada. We still have a ton of growing to do, not surprisingly, but we have stores in most provinces, and then we sell in the States as well, and in Hong Kong.
There's been so many shifts in the beauty industry since you started your business, and it's been really cool to see how you've grown and navigated all of those shifts in trends or even marketing techniques. I know you have some big plans for the next few years, so I wanted to catch up and have you on.
Gosh, well, thank you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to actually be able to talk about my stuff. I always think I'm, bore people, but I'm glad I follow you too, Rebecca, and I kind of nerd out on how you've redefined yourself as well and the whole pivot part. And anybody who's crazy enough to be an entrepreneur, and I did say the word crazy because as entrepreneurs are an unusual breed. Even if you have a business that is like has hockey stick growth, it is a rough and scary ride. And I know that there have been many brands that I'm speaking within the clean beauty segment who have folded this year, like a surprising amount. Not surprisingly, the pandemic was tricky for many of us. And now we're seeing this downturn in the economy. People's spending habits are changing. Cost of goods are going up, just like beyond exponentially. Supply chain stuff. It's a little bit terrifying. And then people are fickle, like, especially if you are a small brand, then you cannot necessarily offer the benefits and the perks that a larger brand can do. It's not surprising that people move from position to position. So just as you're getting attached to somebody, then you get a sayonara. Every day is it's filled with blessings and definitely a few curses. I don't think I've ever had oh, that was an easy day. Oh, and the whole notion of a social life and a regular I don't know. Maybe you can do it. I know you've made big changes in your life to create the life that you want, fully interested and committed to manifesting, creating change, being the change that you want. But that it's not to say that it isn't without some real hiccups and
Challenge, and you have to overcome quite a bit, especially in the beauty space. Beauty and fashion, I guess, things seem to change like at least every other year quite significantly. I see on like even TikTok and stuff, people
Mhm.
having like, this is what I did my makeup like in 20,
Right.
15 versus 2022. It's significantly different. So it's a lot to navigate in terms of like staying relevant, just like in terms of trends. And then, like you said, the huge economic shifts, like it's been, yeah. Anyway, I'm just like very impressed that you're still here and you're,
Thank you.
adding more new challenges to your plate. Congrats on being one of the ones that are really making it in this time.
Thank you. Thank you. I think within the beauty segment or what is different words that you can use. Some people would say clean beauty, natural beauty, green beauty, beauty, cosmetics, makeup. There has been a real shakeup and there's pros and cons to it. Just as long as 5 years ago, there's been a tremendous amount of change. So I would say back then, there were sort of two camps, conventional beauty, drugstore beauty, kind of mainstream big brands. And then there were the upstarts, the indie brands that many of were natural, but then had the stigma of being crunchy granola, not in a good way. Like maybe nice ingredients, but without preservatives. And let me tell you, skincare needs preservatives. You can use a clean preservative, quote unquote clean. And packaging has really changed too. I think a lot of small indie brands are really doing a surprisingly good job. Like they're packaging their brand identity, and this is your expertise. But what's happened? There's been a leveling out. So the disruptive brands, I know that word disrupt is a little bit overused these days, but the disruptive indie brands have elevated their image and being able to communicate, hey, we look at our products actually work pretty well, and we have some demonstrative evidence. We're using really great ingredients that are safe and I don't want to use the word safe because that sounds judgy, but thoughtfully considered. And then the bigger conventional brands are going, holy crap, look at these upstart brands. We better become clean, using clean in quotation marks, because it's a term that is still emerging in terms of having a definition. The good thing is they are beginning to formulate their products with better for you ingredients. And so there's this leveling out. And that, in general is a great thing. That means beauty is being made better, but the landscape is suddenly like beyond competitive, because as the world just merged together, which was always my vision to happen. I don't think anybody thought it would happen so quickly. And throughout the pandemic, a lot of people started brands. As opposed to other industries, I would say that the barrier to entry to become a beauty brand can be less. People with an idea or a concept can approach a contract manufacturer and say, I want this and I want this ingredient. And a lot of contract manufacturers have base formulas, and then you can customize according to color, scent, actives, and get some stock packaging, and then bam, you have a brand.
I see. And we saw a lot of influencers do that, right? Like so many influencers just suddenly had, so many celebrities right now have a skincare brand. We actually have a whole video about that too.
Yeah. You're gonna get me going there. Yeah, it's super saturated. But now I think there is this leveling out of, what are the brands, the upstart brands that are going to stay in the game and actually redefine themselves? And some people do it easier than others. And I can't say it's necessarily an easy transition for us. Just to have ingredients that are considered good for you ingredients that would not be suspect to some people, and some people don't really care. And by the way, I'm not dissing in any way any non-natural brands. I think there's a lot of room in the play box. I play sandbox, not play box.
Oh yeah, early playground or yeah.
Playground, yeah, for many brands to live. I'm kind of a libertarian in nature. Like I happen to have a culinary background as first of all, a French chef, and then a plant-based chef, and then I was a yoga teacher for many, many years. So my personal preference, just as a person, in terms of what I like to eat and my lifestyle, is I have a predominantly plant-based lifestyle. I can't say that I'm officially vegan, but I'm really concerned about, or interested more than concerned about, what I put in my body and how that nourishes me and where it comes from, and knowing that it is really excellent. And as a person who is a survivor of disordered eating, I'm not sure if you were aware of that or not, but
I wasn't aware, but I am too. Yeah.
Okay. Then it really it's a conscious choice for me to be healthful, full of health every day. I want my personal care regime to be reflective of that lifestyle, and just making good choices for myself, personally, professionally. So I'm really interested in plant-based superfoods. I really think there's so much good, like nutrient-dense energy in these types of phytonutrients, that my story is really celebrating those in a manifestation of skincare. I could have continued being a chef, or, I could have become an influencer, any number of things. It's what's important to me. So this is what I'm not against what other people are doing. This is just what I believe in. It's I think my mission as a person, as a human being, for this period of time that I have in this lifetime. And I think there are other people, maybe for similar reasons or different reasons, that also want their ingredients a certain way. I got off on a tangent, but to say the whole industry shifted. It's not just about clean ingredients anymore. What are brands going to do who've got nice ingredient lists but mediocre packaging? I would say that our packaging is nice, but it's not as sustainable as I would like it to be. It's not as transparent as I would like it to be. And so I am hellbent to rise above that and to be a known leader within sustainability and transparency. Like, there is a fire under my butt that gets me out of bed every morning. Like, this is how we are pivoting. We can still bring that amazing, extraordinary ingredient story, the wholesomeness and the goodness of the ingredients that are also clinically proven to be able to positively impact your skin, all of the bioavailable retinols, collagen, peptides, probiotics. There's a huge list of active skincare ingredients, and but now our vision is, how do we package that, literally and figuratively, into something that will change the world. And when I say change the world, I'm that is not an over dramatization. Our plans, which I think I touched on with you, are truly, I'm going to get emotional when I talk about it because it is so big. That is how we're pivoting. But I got to tell you, the pivot is lovely sounding, but it's really about digging deep in every aspect of your life. And I mentioned to you, just as we were logging on, that I had a very important team member give me her notice this week. She's integral into our team. I shouldn't say was, I am absolutely devastated. This will be a great loss for us. And now I'm again having to dig deep and think about, well, it's going to sound cliche or just too Pollyanna, but like with every challenge, there is usually some opportunity. So what opportunity does this give us? It's not like I'm just going to lay back and think, well, life is just going to happen and it will be solved, this problem. No, I'm going to work like even a more crazy person than I normally do to come up with a solution that will positively impact my team and my business. But there is I'm feeling like there has to be a level of surrender. And if there isn't, then I'm just, going to become even more anxious than I'm already predicted to be. I never thought that I would be that person saying, oh, just surrender. Right. But I think that's part of coping with really hard challenges.
And big shifts, right? It's such and huge shifts. I mean, you have to push forward as an entrepreneur, you do, but when you're trying to control everything, it can get so I completely understand what you mean. It can make things worse almost. And so you do need to have a level of surrender to get through a challenge. I mean, you just went through so many huge shifts that even just happened to you in the last week, right? Those are some huge pivots that, and it seems to me like the way that you go about it is so spiritual and also very like self-aware. You have a purpose and a mission that is keeping you in check, and it's deeper than you. It's about leaving, you've mentioned to me since we met that it's important to you to leave a legacy and do something that creates a positive shift in the world. I could definitely see that in many entrepreneurs that can withstand such challenging pivots, such as, like, you mentioned the pandemic and everything, but I'm sure you went through huge issues before the pandemic as well. Like, it's not the first time. Yeah, maybe tell me a little bit more about that surrendering aspect and what you do for yourself when a huge issue arises that you need to navigate.
This surrendering thing is new to me. I do have like severe chronic anxiety, and
really,
I wish I could say that I wasn't so familiar with panic attacks. But I think that's also coming from I feel like I'm completely powerless, and that my world is caving in, and some people experience these types of mental health challenges, and some people are just wired like just genetically differently. And I got a healthy dose of, I don't know if it's like genetically inherited or generational, but I do suffer from, and I'm glad to say I'm open about my mental health challenges.
I think a lot of people listening are going to relate a lot to this. So it's like, you've accomplished so much, and it's like, wow, she's struggling with this. Like, yeah.
Crippling. Like, I am that person, one that, the advertisement, I remember seeing one on television. The woman is presenting a presentation in the boardroom, and she literally crumbles and has to leave. Like, just getting up and actually having a shower and making myself eat and showing up, it's like it is difficult. I have one thing that is really inspiring me is I do have a son. He really does inspire me to get up and get shit done, and to be the best version of myself. And that's connected to leaving a legacy. But I don't want to be that person lying in bed and just saying I can't do it. And he's sassy as can be, and he's like, "Mom, get the hell up! Like up, like out, like no." He calls me names, and he's like, "You can't victimize yourself." I was like, "Oof," right? I have a unique relationship with him. So
I love that he's like he's totally rallying for you and loves what you do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I just realized that part of not showing up is victimizing yourself. Oh, this happened to me. There's plenty of things that have happened to me and not unique. I had a marriage that crumbled. I lost a late pregnancy and birthed a baby, like crippling things. My father recently died, within a couple of years ago, who was the co-founder of my business. These are all things, and I have a mother with severe health challenges. Any one of these things could just literally freeze me for the rest of my life. Anyway, that's not the path that I'm choosing, and I don't mean to sound like I am great or anything like that. I'm just saying, here I am. I'm trying to get up and do the best job that I can do. Yeah, all those times when my son was little and there were school field trips and moms were getting together, I was the one who was working, and I was a single parent for a good part of his. Wow. Yeah. So that huge sacrifices. And at that point, I was more teaching yoga than doing the skincare. And the skincare came from me realizing that I could actually help people in their skin with my knowledge of ingredients. And being a culinary person, I'm relatively self-taught. If I can make a pastry cream or a buttercream with an immersion blender, or why can't I actually emulsify ingredients? And that is literally how I started out in my kitchen. That sounds so rinky-dinky, and we definitely do produce in the kitchen, although I call my kitchen as my home lab. That's where a lot of the inspiration starts out, with superfoods. And then gladly, we are lucky to work with, we have a wonderful cosmetic chemist who's on mat leave at the moment, and we can't wait to see her face again. Yeah, because really what I want to do is just make products that make people feel well. Like, beauty is a feeling, and I want people to really connect with the products that they're doing. It's just not shit that, sorry, I'm a bit of a potty mouth. I'll try not to swear too much. But I don't want skincare to be something that is just another obligation. Oh, right. I have to keep that eye cream on because if I don't, I have crow's feet, and it's just another thing on your to-do list. I personally can't wait until I can wash my face at night. We have nobody's even seen this. I can't believe it. My team's going to be mad at me.
The new product.
Watching. I turned the label around. It's a cleanser, actually.
Oh, nice.
No, nobody's heard of it. I might get in trouble for sharing it, but it is just such a feeling of pleasure. Washing my face, actually feeling my skin where it's dry and patchy, and then actually using my fingers. And then I'm also big on facial yoga and acupuncture and acupressure massage. So that is a little bit of joy that I can give myself. And I am that person that sometimes I don't even leave the house because I'm working all day unhealthily. I will admit that my life is out of balance.
Sometimes those days happen.
Life work balance. In fact, if you're an entrepreneur, I would say do not expect to have life work balance, and make sure that you are partnered with somebody, if you are partnered, that is going to be okay with that, because it is truly invasive. And for sure you can have specks of joy and the occasional sleep in, and probably do some interesting business, pleasure travel, but it's truly all consuming.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. It's definitely hard to have a balance equally in that way. It actually takes a while to even learn to disconnect. It's so easy to be totally all consumed with your business in your mind, even in your off time, right? It's almost
I
a
can't.
skill,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I am addicted.
Yeah.
And you have to,
And it's in your home too, right? Your office, right?
I know there's no office space anymore. I don't even know what I would do if I went on vacation and I didn't have my phone with me. I probably do need to do a detox.
You need a vacation then. That's your
What?
goal.
That I'll have heard that word before.
Exactly. Oh my God.
I'm an older founder. I will admit it.
And your skin looks amazing. So that's a testament to your products.
Oh, thank you. I have to admit my go-to is face glow. It's the tinted primer, illuminator, and moisturizer. It's like the magic cream. Actually, my face is a little bit dry. I'm gonna do a little pat on it.
Oh,
Face can never have enough moisture. But yeah, because I'm not in my 30s, I'll let you do the math on that. And I have a 24-year-old son. You can sort of probably figure out where I'm at. And I think that my desire and devotion to really kick ass at what I'm doing is very strong, because I realize that I'm in a certain stage of my life. I want to make every day and moment count.
That's shifted your perspective to probably be a lot more resilient. Same with the fact that you have that consistent vision with your brand and what you want. It's not just about
earning money necessarily. It is about
I would like that. That is an area of challenge, but I am again.
It always is, especially lately. Oh my gosh, especially with the increased cost of ingredients. Like, I don't know. I feel like the last 2 years it's a testament to survive even, right? So
you prioritize self-care and kind of how you show up. I can see how that could be tied together. Do you feel like that's tied together and tied to your purpose?
A bit of a mumbo jumbo, but I find that my only strategy for survival is to inject small moments periodically. So if I look over there, I see some free weights. Over there, I see a foam roller. Behind me, you'll see a yoga mat. Oh, you'll see an eye patch, and there's a meditation app on my phone ready to go. I have one of those vibrating plates that really helps. And so I just do these little cycles. I have a kettle in my office. So then I'm, having a moment, having a sensory, and if I need to have a power nap, I can. There's a deck up there. So I just sort of set myself up because I can't clock out at a normal time. And I find that the only peaceful time that I have is really late at night. So it's actually after midnight where I feel like I can actually read some things that are interesting to me that are still probably work related, but I can relax into something, and then, it all starts again early in the morning. And one little tip, relevant or not, but I'll just share it because it's not typical. Yep. I start to make dinner in the morning. So I will have a hot beverage. I'm definitely like the beverage barista. And so I take a lot of pleasure in that, but I will put something in a slow cooker, or I will prep vegetables. It's an odd time to be working on dinner at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
I find, that also just from the disordered eating point of view, it's like, I don't want to go all day without eating. Like, I don't want to propagate that cycle. So I make it easy for myself. And then actually the chopping or the preparation, there's some pleasure in the routine of that. And then I don't have to worry about it at like 7 o'clock and oh my God. And anyway, that's just a strategy.
Yeah, that's smart. I love that idea. There's so many times where you're exhausted at the end of the day and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner. And for me, I feel like I could go for really bad for you options and bad.
Yeah.
It's fast. No, that's really smart, actually. It's a great way to start the day for success.
Uber Eats I just can't do it. I mean, unless it's an emergency. I don't know. I'm very sort of homesteadish. It's like, what can I do on my own?
to
Yeah, it's kind
empower
of
me.
it's a bit of a waste anyway, and it's of money, and it's usually like, yeah, not the healthiest option. That's true. Some people
Of
do live
course.
off of Uber Eats, especially a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But it sounds
Yeah.
like you really prioritize what you're consuming, like you mentioned before, what you're putting on your body. You're very self-aware and able to like prep all of these corners. I think, yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs are going to learn a lot about how they can navigate really big shifts and challenges from what you've shared today.
I have become a little bit woo-woo throughout this.
I wish. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish that it'd be great to have like a business degree under my belt, but I have found that my woo-woo skills have actually been pretty come in really handy. I'll segue to a little story. Hopefully it won't be too long, but when I several years ago, I was going through challenging, like, I don't know, when has my life not been challenging, but a point in time of like, traditional therapy is not working. I mean, I started seeing a therapist when I was 15. So I have sought, mental health support for many years on and off throughout my life. And I kind of was like, I'm just tired of telling people my story. Like, I actually need something to crack me open, to shift me, because part of it is I can't get out of my head. And I also realized that my stuckness as a person was also affecting my work. And I had a friend who invited me on a shamanic retreat, which did crack me open through ceremony, through keeping the fires alive for, several days, and in cold Canadian winter, raining. It was not a pleasant experience, but it was it was a powerful experience. There was a naming ceremony. It was I'm glossing over it. It was a boot camp, and it was not easy or fun. And I came back super sick, and I was given a spiritual name. I don't know if it's appropriate to share it in this context. And I sort of took 10 days to kind of recover and wake up. Like, okay, I'm back. I feel like, this was not a drug related thing, by the way, but it almost like it could have been.
Oh, really?
Okay. No,
More meditation.
No ayahuasca. There was a product that I was struggling with, actually, this product.
Oh, nice.
Full moon serum. I had a really nice formula, but it was looking like, in a clear bottle, and you could see it clinging to the inside of it. It was sticky. And I don't need to tell you, but, even if the product tastes good and looks good or feels good, if it don't look good, it ain't gonna, buy it.
Yeah.
And
people judge a book by its cover sometimes, don't they?
Unfortunately, sometimes. And I had this vision of wanting it to be blue. Part of my work at this retreat was the full moon ceremony. Literally looking at the full moon, it was a blue moon, and deeply feeling that, and feeling my ancestral heritage. There's a lot of crying involved at the same time. It was just seemed this could be completely coincidental, but it was literally right at that point, after I'd been back for a few days, that an ingredient supplier randomly contacted me and said, we happen to have this wonderful gemstone called malachite, and it's incredibly good for your skin. It's got, helps with collagen production and detoxes your skin. And I was like, okay, interesting. And I saw it, and it was this beautiful blue color. And honestly, I felt like that was the result. I mean, I could be, again, I don't need to be over. I don't want to jinx anything.
I think that is how things happen. Sometimes the best things, like you said, that was a moment of surrendering, right? And you were able to just let it, you were attracting something that you needed to take your business to that next level. Yeah, business and spirituality are very interconnected. I believe that too. And that is because you are able to attract something rather than grab it and try to force it. And you can get in that mindset of just like forcing and working and just like thinking that you'll kind of work your way out of a challenge, but you're just going to exhaust yourself and maybe sometimes that the solution is more so to surrender, take a moment to think and step back and wait for it to come to you. And that sounds like what you did.
And hence, this is called Full Moon Serum.
Yeah, it is well received. It's a water-based product, so this is going to sound pitchy, but like, it's actually suitable for a wide range of skin types. Got loaded with all the active ingredients that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Will modestly say that it is a pretty extraordinary product. People think I called it Full Moon Serum just because moon stuff is trendy these days.
Fair.
And I'm like, don't judge me. I actually had there's a story behind this.
Keep sharing those stories because they're powerful, and it's definitely something that people can relate to. It almost like that product is a moment to like surrender and have a moment, right?
Yeah, it's not as here is about. There's actually some study about, well, the endorphins go off when you're touching your face. Just we forget our skin actually likes to be touched and massaged. You don't need to go and get a facial to do that. Facials are great, don't get me wrong, but you have the power to connect with your skin at least twice a day, or you should be washing, have some morning routine and some evening routine.
It makes me think of another kind of theme that you've been bringing up, which is that mind-body connection, right? That moment to have, to get out of your head, as you mentioned. When you struggle with anxiety, you're totally immersed in your own head, and it prevents you from, moving forward.
Yeah, like you're in the headlights. Yeah.
So it's a moment. So that helps you to get out of that as just connecting to your body, whether it be through skincare or.
Absolutely. And if you can actually do a breath or two at the same time, you'd be surprised. So it actually does positively affect your mental health. And it's kind of like bookends on the day.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's true. Skincare is like a bookends on the day. It's a moment to kind of get up and a moment to close and log off. Well, this was so nice. We talked about a side of pivoting that not many founders have gone through. And I just feel like you've turned your struggles into your superpower, really. And it's taken you on a very, very spiritual journey that has helped you succeed.
Well, as I mentioned, I started making products later in my life. I never planned on it. If I'd known, I probably would have taken different things in school.
I guess.
But when I look back on my life, everything does add up, from taking women's studies in undergrad to I have an MFA, and then I worked in a little bit of advertising and some corporate work, and then became an artist and the chef alongside that, a home food delivery business, and then yoga. And it really seems like a patchwork of things, and separately they are, but I don't think I could be actually doing what I'm doing without that synergy. But it was a big pivot to later in my life say, I think I'm going to start doing skincare. I mean, close family members who were well-meaning were like, no, you're not. Like, no, honey. Like,
I know that always happens. That sucks, right?
Yeah. And they weren't wrong, actually. This is not easy, and I would have been, as I think I told you last week, I might have been better off working with, becoming a master barista. I mean, I know.
Do you think so?
I don't know. No, I'm in terms of reliability and stability, and maybe. But I think that the opportunity here is enormous, especially as we roll out these packaging. Really exciting. Can't say it yet. Tune in a couple months when maybe it's public. Extraordinary packaging and ingredients that are coming up that truly almost no one in the world is doing. And I just got really lucky to connect with the right person, US technology. I feel very rich because of what I have the opportunity to do. Yeah. There are other things that I could have done that just might have been easier, and not possibly, would have been less stressful. Just sort of closing off on the same sort of opening note, I think entrepreneurship, you almost don't have a choice. I was that person selling cupcakes and had the lemonade stand and selling pastry chef stuff before I even, I really think that it is in my blood. And I am just not really that corporate person to fit into that. I just have never, which has been challenging, because I'm like, how come I just couldn't become that lawyer or accountant or something? And it's how I am truly wired. And so I'm just accepting who I am and the good times and the bad times that come along.
I think it's your superpower.
Thank you. And yours too. So cheers as I raise my mason jar.
RT.
Thank you, Rebecca, for this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, thank you for coming on. It was a joy to have you. I learned so much.
I think a lot of people listening will as well. I really appreciate you, and I'm so excited to see what you come up with next. Everyone can find you on your website, graydonskincare.com.
Yes, indeed. Or our handle at Graydon Skincare for social.
Yep.
And I can't finish a conversation without my yoga teacher self coming back. So I just, you can't see it in the screen, but I'm going to inhale, lift it up, bring my palms together, touch my third eye, our chakra, and just namaste. Thank you. The teacher of me, the teacher in you.
I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Aw.
Thank you.